A single pack of bacon costs about £1.5 these days. Most of us grill the lot on a Saturday morning, and it is gone by Sunday. But there is an older, cleverer way. Treat that pack as 7 dinners, not 1, and just 2 rashers can carry a whole meal. Number 4 turns a single rasher into a bowl of soup that lasts 3 days, and number 1 is the cheapest proper dinner I know. So put the kettle on, and let me show you how 1 pack can quietly feed you all week. Number 25. Bacon and fried cabbage. Here's the meal that started it for me. Half a cabbage costs about 40 pence, and a single rasher of bacon is all you need to make it taste like something. Snip that 1 rasher into little strips with the kitchen scissors and let it sizzle slowly in a dry pan until the fat runs golden. Then in goes the shredded cabbage, tossed through that bacon fat until the edges catch and soften. A crack of pepper, no salt needed. The bacon does that job. 10 minutes, 1 pan, 1 plate to wash. For someone cooking for 1, that matters as much as the money. It fills you up, it costs pennies, and it uses just a scrap of the pack. 24 dinners still to go from the same packet, and you've barely made a dent. Number 24. Baked bacon and egg. This is breakfast turned into a proper tea, and it dirties nothing but a ramekin. Line a small oven-proof dish with 1 rasher curled round the inside like a little wall. Crack an egg into the middle, a spoonful of milk, a pinch of pepper, and slide it into a moderate oven for 15 minutes until the white is set and the yolk still wobbles. The bacon crisps against the dish while it cooks, flavoring the egg from the edges in. Served with a slice of buttered toast to dip, it's a warm, comforting supper for well under 50 pence. When you're on your own, there's no shame in an easy meal, and this one feels like more effort than it is. 1 rasher, 1 egg, and the pack lives to fight another day. Number 23. Proper beans on toast with bacon. Everyone thinks they know beans on toast, but add 1 chopped rasher to the pan first, let it crisp, then tip the tin of beans in on top, and you've got something else entirely. The bacon dissolves its smoky flavor right through the sauce, turning a schoolboy snack into a dinner that sticks to your ribs. A tin of beans is around 40 pence, bread a few pence a slice. Pile it high on thick buttered toast, and there's your evening sorted for less than the price of a stamp. It's hot, it's fast, and on the nights when you can't be bothered, that little rasher is the difference between making do and making a meal. Still 9 rashers or so left in the pack, and we're only 2 in. Number 22. Bacon and mushroom omelette. 3 eggs, a handful of mushrooms, and 1 rasher, and you've a supper that would cost you £8 in a cafe. Fry the chopped bacon and sliced mushrooms together until the pan smells wonderful, then pour beaten eggs over the lot and let it set gently. Fold it over, slide it onto a warm plate, and that's tea. Mushrooms are cheap when the supermarket marks them down at the end of the day, and half a pack sits happily in the fridge for the next one. An omelette is the friend of anyone living alone. It's forgiving, it's quick, and it uses whatever odds and ends need using up. That single rasher lifts it from plain eggs to something you actually look forward to. The pack, meanwhile, is barely touched. Number 21. Bacon and tomato pasta. A tin of chopped tomatoes, a handful of pasta, and 2 rashers snipped small. Fry the bacon until it colors, tip in the tomatoes, and let it bubble down thick while the pasta boils in the other pan. Stir them together with a little of the pasta water and whatever cheese you have to hand. The whole thing costs perhaps 60 pence and gives you a proper bowl of pasta that tastes rich and savory rather than watery. Make double, and tomorrow's lunch is already done, cold or warmed through. Either way, that's the quiet secret of cooking for one. Cook once, eat twice, and the effort halves. 2 rashers gone, plenty left, and you've had a hot dinner and set tomorrow up besides. Number 20. Bacon jacket potato. A baking potato costs about 30 pence and takes almost no doing. Prick it, rub it with a little oil and salt, and let the oven do the work for an hour while you sit with your tea. Meanwhile, crisp 1 chopped rasher in a pan, then split the potato open and pile it in with a knob of butter and a spoon of grated cheese that melts into the steam. The bacon gives it that salty, smoky bite that turns a plain spud into a meal you'd be pleased to serve anyone. It's filling, it's cheap, and it needs almost no standing over. For those days when energy is short, a jacket potato practically cooks itself, and 1 rasher is all it asks of the pack. Number 19. Bacon and leek cheese. Leeks are one of the great cheap vegetables, and they love bacon. Slice a couple of leeks into rounds, wash the grit out well, and soften them slowly in the fat of 1 chopped rasher until they turn silky. Stir in a spoonful of flour, then milk, until it thickens into a gentle sauce, and finish with grated cheese. Tip it into a dish and brown it under the grill, or eat it straight from the pan over toast. It's the kind of warm, creamy supper that comforts you on a cold evening, and it costs under £1 all in. Leeks fill you up without weighing on the purse, and that lone rasher carries the flavor of the whole dish. 1 more gone from the pack, and still we're not halfway through it. Number 18. Bacon fried rice. If you've a bowl of leftover rice, this is dinner in 10 minutes. Fry 2 chopped rashers until crisp, push them aside and scramble an egg in the same pan. Then tip the cold rice in and fry it hard so it catches and crackles. A splash of soy sauce, a handful of frozen peas, and you've a plate of something hot, savory, and satisfying for pennies. Cold rice is actually better than fresh for this, so it's a grand way to use up what would otherwise be thrown out. Nothing wasted, 1 pan, and a proper meal at the end. Living alone teaches you to value these odds and ends dinners, and bacon fried rice is the king of them. 2 rashers used, and the pack is holding up well. Number 17. Bacon and onion gravy on mash. Mashed potato is comfort itself, and bacon-onion gravy turns it into a feast. Slice an onion thin and fry it slowly with 1 chopped rasher until both go soft and sweet and golden, which takes patience but no skill. Stir in a spoon of flour, then a stock cube dissolved in hot water, and let it bubble into a glossy gravy. Pour it over a mound of buttered mash, and you've a plate that tastes of Sunday on a Tuesday night. Potatoes cost next to nothing, an onion a few pence, and the bacon does the heavy lifting on flavor. It's soft, warming food, easy to eat and easy to make, and it leaves the rest of the pack sitting patiently in the fridge for the days ahead. Number 16. Bacon and pea risotto. Risotto sounds fancy, but it's just rice, stock, and patience, and it's perfect for one. Fry 1 chopped rasher and a little onion, stir in a handful of rice, then add hot stock a ladle at a time, stirring until the rice turns creamy. A handful of frozen peas in the last few minutes brings color and sweetness, and a scrape of cheese finishes it. Frozen peas are the best friend of anyone cooking alone. Always there, never spoiling, costing almost nothing. The whole bowl comes in under £1 and feels like a proper treat. Standing and stirring can even be a pleasant few minutes at the end of the day, a small ritual with the radio on. 1 rasher used and the pack rolls on. Number 15. Bacon and cauliflower cheese. Cauliflower cheese is a meal in its own right, and a rasher or 2 makes it a grand one. Boil half a cauliflower until just tender. Make a simple cheese sauce with flour, milk, and grated cheese, and stir chopped crisped bacon through it before pouring it over. Brown it under the grill until it bubbles and blisters. It's rich, hot, and deeply filling, the sort of dish that warms you right through on a damp evening. Half a cauliflower is around 40 pence, and the leftovers reheat beautifully the next day. So one cook gives you 2 dinners. That's the thrifty heart of all this. 2 rashers spent, and yet somehow the pack seems no smaller, because you've been using it a scrap at a time all week. Number 14, bacon and potato hash. Here's the dish that uses up the ends of everything. Dice a couple of boiled potatoes, chop 2 rashers, and fry them together hard in one pan until the potato crisps golden and the bacon catches at the edges. Throw in any leftover vegetables, a squeeze of brown sauce, and if you fancy it, an egg on top with a runny yolk to break over the lot. It's the taste of a proper fry-up made into a single satisfying plate. Nothing gets wasted, everything gets used, and it costs barely anything at all. For someone living alone, hash is a weekly friend, forgiving of whatever's left in the fridge, and always comforting. 2 rashers gone, and even now, more than halfway through the list, the pack has plenty left to give. Number 13, bacon carbonara. The Italians use pancetta, but a good British rasher does the job just as well. Boil a portion of spaghetti, and while it cooks, crisp 2 chopped rashers in a pan. Beat an egg with a good handful of grated cheese and plenty of black pepper. Drain the pasta, take it off the heat, and toss it with the bacon and the egg mixture, using a splash of the hot pasta water so the egg turns to a silky sauce rather than scrambling. That's the whole trick. No cream needed. It's glossy, rich, and tastes far more expensive than it is, well under £1 for a generous bowl. It's ready in the time the pasta takes to boil, which is a blessing on a tired evening. 2 rashers used, and the pack soldiers on. Number 12, bacon and cabbage colcannon. Colcannon is Irish comfort at its finest, and it stretches a pack beautifully. Mash boiled potatoes with a good knob of butter, then fold through cabbage or kale that you've softened in the fat of 1 chopped rasher. Stir the crisped bacon through the whole buttery green-flecked mound and season it well. It's the kind of plate that fills you up and warms you from the inside, and it costs mere pennies to make. A big batch keeps for days in the fridge and fries up wonderfully the next evening, crisping at the edges like bubble and squeak. That's 2 dinners from 1 pot and a single rasher. Frugal, filling, and deeply satisfying, colcannon is proof that the humblest ingredients make the finest suppers when you cook them with a little care. Number 11, bacon and root vegetable tray bake. When you can't face standing at the hob, let the oven do everything. Chop a carrot, a parsnip, an onion, and a potato into chunks. Scatter 2 chopped rashers over the top. Drizzle with oil, and roast the whole tray for 40 minutes until it's caramelized and tender. The bacon renders down through the vegetables, seasoning them as they roast, and the smell that fills the kitchen is worth the wait alone. 1 tray, 1 wash-up, and a plate of proper roasted dinner for well under £1. Roast a big batch and it reheats through the week without complaint. This is the lazy cook's masterpiece, honest food that needs no watching, and the perfect answer for anyone whose knees have had enough of standing at the stove. 2 rashers gone, and the pack endures. Number 10. Bacon quiche, no pastry. You don't need pastry to make a quiche, and the crustless version is cheaper and easier both. Beat 4 eggs with a splash of milk, stir in 2 chopped crisped rashers and a handful of grated cheese, pour it into a greased dish, and bake until it's puffed and golden, around 25 minutes. What comes out is a savory, custardy tart you can eat hot or cold, and it slices into portions that last for days. A wedge with a few salad leaves or a spoon of beans makes a fine tea, and it travels well if you're going out. For around £1, the whole thing feeds you several times over. That's the real magic of these dishes. One small effort echoing across the week. 2 rashers used, and we're into the top 10. Number 9. Bacon and dumpling stew. Now we're at the dishes that truly feed you for days. Fry 2 chopped rashers with an onion, add chopped carrot, potato, and a stock cube in water, and let it simmer into a gentle stew. Then make dumplings, just self-raising flour and a little suet bound with water, and drop them on top to steam under a lid for 20 minutes until they swell up soft and fluffy. The dumplings soak up the bacon-rich broth and turn a thin stew into a meal that fills every corner of you. A pot like this makes 3 or 4 portions and reheats better each time as the flavors deepen. It's warmth and comfort and thrift all in one steaming bowl, and it asks only 2 rashers of the pack you started with. Number 8. Bacon and barley broth. Pearl barley is one of the cheapest, most filling things in the shop, and it drinks up bacon flavor like nothing else. Fry 2 chopped rashers, add a handful of barley, some diced carrot and onion, and cover it all with stock. Let it simmer for 40 minutes until the barley swells fat and tender and the broth turns thick and golden. What you get is a pot that could feed you for 3 days, hearty enough to be a meal on its own with a hunk of bread. Barley costs pennies a portion and keeps you full for hours, which is exactly what you want from a cheap dinner. It freezes well too, so you can portion it into tubs for the days you don't feel like cooking. 2 rashers, 3 dinners. That's the arithmetic that stretches a pack. Number 7. Bacon and tomato soup. Not a soup from a tin, but one that tastes like it took all afternoon, made in 20 minutes. Fry 1 chopped rasher, add a tin of tomatoes, an onion, a potato to thicken it, and some stock, then simmer and blend it smooth. The bacon gives it a smoky depth that ordinary tomato soup can only dream of. A swirl of milk softens it, and a piece of buttered bread makes it a meal. This makes 2 or 3 bowls from 1 small rasher, and it keeps beautifully in the fridge for the following days. A hot bowl of soup is one of the kindest things you can make for yourself when you're on your own, easy to eat, easy to store, and warming on the coldest night. 1 rasher, several dinners, and the pack still isn't empty. Number 6. Bacon and potato chowder. Creamy, thick, and cheap, this is a bowlful of comfort. Fry 2 chopped rashers, soften an onion in the fat, then add diced potato and just enough stock to cover. Simmer until the potato is soft, mash some of it into the broth to thicken it, and finish with a splash of milk. What you've made is a rich, hearty chowder that eats like a full dinner and costs under £1 for the whole pot. It makes 3 generous bowls, each one better than the last as it sits. Potatoes and milk are among the cheapest things you can buy, and together with a scrap of bacon, they turn into something that tastes like far more than the sum of its parts. 2 rashers spent, and the end of the pack is finally in sight, having fed you all week. Number 5. Bacon and onion suet pudding. Here's a dish your Nan would recognize, and it's the ultimate stretch. Make a suet pastry with self-raising flour, suet and water, line a small basin with it, and fill it with sliced onion and 2 chopped rashers seasoned with pepper. Seal the top with more pastry, cover it, and steam it for 2 hours until it turns into a soft, savory pudding you turn out onto a plate. It sounds like a lot of effort, but it's mostly the pot doing the work while you rest. A single pudding feeds you across 2 or 3 sittings, and there's nothing more filling for the money. This is old-fashioned thrift at its finest. Flour and suet, and just a couple of rashers making a dinner that would once have fed a working man through a full shift. Number 4. Bacon and vegetable soup. This is the one I mentioned at the start. The single rasher that lasts 3 days. Chop 1 rasher and fry it in the bottom of a big pot. Then add whatever vegetables you have. A carrot, an onion, a potato, some frozen peas, a stick of celery, and cover it all with stock. Simmer it for half an hour, and you've a pot of soup that will feed you 3 days running for the price of that 1 rasher, and a few odds and ends. It empties the vegetable drawer, it warms you through, and it freezes into portions for the weeks ahead. When money is tight and cooking for one feels like a chore, a big pot of soup is the answer to everything. 1 rasher, 3 dinners, and almost nothing wasted. Number 3. Bacon and bean casserole. Tinned beans, whether baked, butter, or cannellini, make the cheapest casserole going, and bacon makes it sing. Fry 2 chopped rashers with an onion, tip in a tin of beans and a tin of tomatoes, add a stock cube and a pinch of herbs, and let it bubble together for 20 minutes into a thick, savory pot. It's rich, filling, and packed with cheap protein, the sort of meal that keeps you going for hours. Serve it over rice, with a jacket potato, or just with bread to mop the bowl. A batch this size makes 3 or 4 portions and reheats better each day. For well under £1 a serving, there's no more economical hot dinner in Britain. 2 rashers gone, and the pack has very nearly earned its keep for the whole week. Number 2. Bacon and split pea soup. Dried split peas are perhaps the cheapest food in the shop, a bag costing barely more than £1 and making pot after pot. Soak a mugful, then simmer them with 2 chopped rashers, an onion, and a carrot in plenty of stock until they collapse into a thick, golden, spoon-standing soup. This is the food that carried mining families through hard winters, and it hasn't lost an ounce of its power to fill and warm. 1 pot makes 4 or 5 bowls, each thick enough to be a full meal with bread. It costs pennies a serving. Freezes beautifully and tastes richer every day it sits. Split pea soup is proof that eating cheaply need never mean eating poorly, and that 2 humble rashers can flavor a week's worth of dinners. Number 1. Bacon and lentil soup. And here it is, the cheapest proper dinner I know. Red lentils cost almost nothing, need no soaking, and cook down in 20 minutes into a thick, comforting bowl. Fry 2 chopped rashers with an onion and a carrot, add a mugful of lentils and plenty of stock, and simmer until it turns into a rich, golden pottage that fills you to the brim. From 1 pot you get 4, even 5 servings, each one costing mere pennies, and it only improves as the days pass and the flavors settle. It freezes perfectly into single tubs, so a single afternoon's cooking becomes a fortnight of easy dinners. Warming, filling, and nourishing, it's everything a cheap meal should be. And with those last 2 rashers, your pack has done its work. 7 dinners and more from what most folk finish in a weekend. So there they are, 25 dinners from a single pack of bacon. Try one this week, then tell me in the comments which one saw you through. Because a rasher was never meant to be the meal. It was meant to make the meal. And now you know how.